Thank you for tuning in to 26 Sports. This is your host, Mike Reza, and we're back on after a little bit of a break. But I'm on today with the one and only one of the most known fighters right now in 154, a top contender now, and he's stepping up for an eliminator next week in Carson, California. The one and only Charles Bad News Conwell. How you doing today, bro?
What up, Mike?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm out here in LA a little early this time around, so I'm
That's good,
excited.
man. That's good. How you liking it out there right now?
I like LA, man. The weather is beautiful. I always like LA.
Yeah. So, as you
Why?
said, this is your second time being out here for a fight now in LA?
Second time.
Yeah. So, what is it like now that first time you had the fight was as part of the Ring City. It was in the street outside of Wild Card Gym, but now you're going to be fighting on the arena, man. The place is called the West Coast War Zone, war grounds right here. This is where some of the best fights in boxing over the last 20 years have happened. So you get to set place there. How does that feel for you?
Man, like you said, it's my second time around. The first time I got a TKO stoppage, so I'm coming out there trying to be better than I was last time and get another stoppage and just keep putting on great performances.
Yeah, and your opponent, as I mentioned, this is an eliminator now. This isn't just another regular fight. This is a WBC eliminator for a chance to challenge. So does that add on pressure to you, or does that just make it let's get it pretty much?
I'm already like a let's get it type person anyway, but that just makes the stakes greater because the eliminator give me one step closer to that world title shot. So man, I always got something to prove, and I feel like if I go out there and do my thing this time, like they can't deny me for sure because I'll be just like you said, it's a semifinal eliminator, and I'm there.
Exactly. Now, as you know, everything that went on, you got Charlo as a champ, undisputed, rightfully so, and he's gonna take on Tim Zoo. If you get this win, is that the fight you're gonna go for next, or do you expect there to probably be one more before you get the chance at the title?
I expect there to be one more for sure. I don't think they're gonna just skip me right to the title. Like I said, it's a semifinal eliminator, so it's not like a final eliminator. So I expect one more. So we just gotta wait and see.
Now, what do you know about your opponent? Have you studied him a lot? Has there been anything that you've seen in this game that you think you could get to exploit once the fight comes?
Yeah, I watched him. I think he's a strong fighter. He's aggressive. Um, and he's beaten uh, a couple of prospects, but every time it was time to step up, I feel like he's falling. So same thing here. I don't really think he's shown me nothing I haven't seen before, but it just me got to be on my A game. 'Cause like I said, he gave a couple guys upset. So if you're
Yeah.
not on your A game, he definitely there to steal a show.
So, as you said, he's given some people some upsets, so that lets you know you can't make a mistake.
Right.
Is it also, you know, important, or does it add a little more fuel to possibly get not just a clean victory, but dominant or possible knockout, knowing that he's beaten some other up and coming fighters?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, don't let the record fool you. He only lost to world class fighters. He only lost to people who eventually going to fight for world titles or fought for world titles before. So that right there goes to show that he's like a stepping stone to the next level. So yeah, I'm looking to do some great things out there and hopefully close the show for
Yeah.
sure.
So now this is going to be your second fight this year. I know you've always told me you wanted to be a lot more active. Since this fight's towards the end of the year, when would you be looking to come back if you're able to get out of this, with no scratches, cuts, or anything like that?
I'm looking to get out there ASAP, but like you said, it's the final eliminator. So now I'm trying to set up. I don't want to rush into anything, but I want to set up next steps for me to get close to those world title shots. So right after this fight, I don't look for no more meaningless fights. I'm looking for
Yeah.
only significant fights will put me in position for that right big fight.
Yeah. So, as you said, you're looking for significant fights. You've always said you wanted to fight former world champions, current top contenders or top prospects. So, is there anybody that may be on your radar following this fight, or is it just straight focus on this and then you worry about it after?
I mean, I'm really just straight focused on this because, like I said, it's my final eliminator, so everything should line up right, and whoever is next should be in like I think the top 15, top 10, top 5. So if everything lined up correct and everything goes the way it should, I feel like those opponents gonna be there regardless.
No matter what, right? Yeah. And you know, as I said, LA, the war zone. It's gonna be cold. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Nighttime in that Carson
Uh,
and the stub. I'm gonna still call it the Stub Hub, no matter what anybody else calls it. But it gets cold, man. So as you said, you're from Ohio, so you're used to it. But does
yeah,
that change the conditions? Because you were in LA last time at night in the cold when you
yeah.
had that fight. So how do you think that's gonna play out this one?
To be honest, I be so zoned in, so tapped in that I don't even be thinking about the weather. I be so focused on my fight, but with those type of things, I just gotta make sure I'm real warmed up and real loose before I get in the fight, so that I don't, you know, what I'm saying, go in there cold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know, it's a good event. It was put on. It's being put on by Marv Nation. Shout out to Marv Nation. How did it come around for you to have opportunity to be part of this card?
Man, I think just Marv Nation just putting together a card that wanted a real good card with solid fighters and good talented fighters. So I guess my team and people that I work with just linked up with Marv Nation and it all just came together real well. I feel like and I feel like it's a lot of good partnerships with Marv Nation. So and they just wanted to load it with some top talent.
Yeah, this is a good fight. I know a lot of people were surprised because of the card coming through, and it was Regis and Cepeda, and they were thinking they don't really have the money for it, and they come out to get it. Now, as I said, you've gotten paid through other promoters. I mean, you were part of a Jake Paul card. You were part of the Ring City. You've been on the Zone. You've been on Top Rank cards. How's this one looking as opposed to pay wise for you throughout your career?
I'll say it's about as far as the rest of my career going. This is probably like the I feel like it's still not nowhere near where I want to be or where I think I should be for the fight that I'm fighting. It's like I said, it's a semi-final eliminator,
Yeah,
and I'm still not. I feel like I'm still not making the pay that I should be making, but it's the right step and it's the right step for my career to go forward and becoming a world champion. So I took the opportunity with both hands. So.
yeah, exactly. And like with me, I've always said fighters should be paid whatever they feel, and up to a right amount because you guys are out here risking your lives in reality every night. Every
Right.
time you step in that ring, so I agree with you, man. And as you said, it's a semifinal eliminator. You should be getting paid a little bit more. So I definitely
Yeah.
agree with that. Now, I talked about you being part of the Jake Paul card. When we talked about that, when it happened, you did tell me he did, break apart from his paycheck to help the rest of you guys. When you
Right.
hear like the trash talk that gets put towards him, but you see him what he's doing for fighters money wise, how did you respond to that? And did that maybe change your perception of him a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. And like he doesn't. I feel like he does a lot for fighters who are underappreciated. I think he's put shines lights on them, and gives a lot of different fighters opportunities to take their career to the next level. And as far as pay, he's that's the most I ever been paid fighting on his card. So I can never downplay him or bash or what I'm saying, back talk him. He does positive things for boxing. He brings odds to boxing. He's taking boxing serious. He's fighting good opponents, and man, he giving people opportunities. What more can you ask for from a person who's only 5 or 6 fights in? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And and then that card you guys were on, that was in Ohio. So how was that?
Yeah.
Just it wasn't your hometown, but it was your home state. So how was that? Just being able to be in that arena, have that type of atmosphere for a fight for you.
No, that is my
Oh yeah, that's right,
hometown.
Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah, that's my
Yeah,
hometown. So it was you know what I'm saying? That was a big opportunity. A lot of people never got to see me fight before. So, and then he just bringing that magnitude, like that big card with all the celebrities and influencers and everybody coming out. So it was a great opportunity to see all those guys and network. And then just, you know what I'm saying, bringing the whole city out. It was like a whole, everybody made money. Everybody just had a great time that night. So it was fun for sure.
yeah. I mean, and you put on a performance. You got the job done. And as you
Mm-hmm.
said, it was the first time a lot of people from your hometown seen you fight, and you put on something like that. So that was special. And real quick, shout out to Rick. What's up, bro? Um, now switch up a little bit. I know since we've known each other since before you had your daughter. Now she's a little
Mm-hmm.
older, man. I
Yeah.
always ask you how she's doing. So, how's your daughter doing, man? And how's it like watching her grow up now?
I mean, she's doing good. She's 2 years old now. She's like, man, she's just getting more and more advanced every day. She's learning new stuff and every time, like, with boxing, I be going for training camp a lot. So it seems like every time I leave and come back, she just knows so much. She grows so much, and I miss out on so much. But it's great seeing all like the accomplishments she's hitting and all the milestones and stuff like that. But it's good. It feel good being a
Yeah,
dad.
it does, man. And then I always tell everybody, it don't matter, got boy or girl, but it's a different feeling having a girl as a dad. Like I got a little girl too.
Sure.
She just turned 7 a few weeks back, man. So she's in school now, and it's a trip, man. Because like you said, you see them grow, and there's times where she'll say something or she'll know something, and I'm just like sitting there like, damn, like she's really just it's just going so fast. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's a special feeling, and it gives you more motivation, man. So that's definitely true.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
man.
but as you said, you miss out on some things. So
Yeah.
when you get back after a fight, is that just all like, all right, I'm gonna shut boxing down for a minute and just go focus on the family and your daughter?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but after this fight, I'm definitely gonna spend some time with my family. Like this fight like 2 days or a day before Thanksgiving, so
Yeah,
I'm missing that holidays and all the other holiday, all the birthdays that I missed. My mother's birthday, my father's birthday. So I'm definitely gonna spend some time with my family and just chill and relax and wait for what's next.
yeah, and then the good thing is, it's towards the end of the year, as you said, so you still get the rest of the time for
Mm-hmm.
the other parts of the year going forward. And I mean, we want to see you back up real soon after this. And it's been still a
Mm-hmm.
long wait because it was May the last
Yeah,
time you had a fight, correct? May or
June.
June. That's right. You were supposed to fight in May though, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So it's still, I mean, compared to how you wanted, and it's got up to this point,
Yeah.
it's tough. But you've been sparring with a lot. I see all the posts put up about who you've been sparring with, who you have sparred with. Who do you think, just maybe in this camp, has given you the best work for you in preparation for this fight?
Uh, I just a lot of different looks, a lot of things I'm working on with each different person. It's not just one person stood out over all other people. Just different things. I'm working on different things with a lot of different people, but I ain't gonna, I have got a lot of world championship sparring and not like nice good prospects and contenders and things like that. So it's not just with who gave me the best work. It's just me working on what I had to work on and them just providing a good solid, what I'm saying, resistance and work.
That's good. And as you told me before, no, because you've been part of the Olympic teams or the American teams, so you see fighters like Shakur, Devin, all these guys making their way up, and you've been proud of them. How excited for you, like to just put the finishing touches on those classes for all those fighters that you've been along with, that you're this close now to joining them possibly as a world champion.
Man, it's a long time coming. I feel like those guys have been so far ahead of the class, and I'm finally getting a chance to catch up. And they're still up there, still far up there. But I feel like I'm finally catching up, creeping up to becoming that world champion, just like they were. So it feels good, man, just to see how we all came up and how all our careers just, what I'm saying, finally meeting up and we meet at the top now.
Yeah, and then as we are talking, you being from Cleveland, you have all these other fighters that you know. When you see
Yeah.
some of them that maybe started out a little bit later than you, doing what they're
Mhm.
doing, does that add motivation, or how good does it feel? Like I think you had a Tiger Johnson on there. I seen one of the
Yeah.
videos. Seeing him coming up, how does that feel for you? Just watching him come up that way as well.
Man, to be honest, Tiger was boxing before I did. But like you said, he came out after me, and he's doing his thing. He's sharp. We had the same coaches growing up together. Man, it's just crazy seeing like we coming from boys to men,
Yeah,
from amateurs with 5 and 10 and 20 fights, and now we fighting for world title eliminator and stuff like that. Man, hard work shows us hard work truly pays off, and being consistent and being dedicated to the sport, man, you can make it all the way to the top.
exactly. And you keep real close with these guys. I've seen them shouting you out. You shout them out, post about them. So
Mm.
knowing that you got a team like that you have, and then just the friends and family that you have in boxing, as opposed to, as we all know, every fighter, every person that's doing well in their life, they have somebody chirping away negatively. How does it feel to
Mm.
have those types of friends in the boxing game and in the team that you have around you?
It feel good, keep you level headed too. You know what I'm saying? Because they know a lot about the sport. They can tell you what they see, and you can tell them what you see, and y'all going through such similar things. So it's always like it's always good to talk to somebody who's going through the same stuff that you've been going through, or what I'm saying, just motivating or pushing you during out the workout, or you just hearing about their next fight, and you just be proud and motivated to keep going hard, just to what I'm saying, stay up with them, and just what I'm saying, it's positive competition basically for me.
Yeah, and then as we know, your brother, even though I felt he kind of got the short end of the stick in his last fight, you
Mm.
guys, seem to fight close to each other always. What's that added competition when you guys are fighting nearby? Like, do you guys put out like, I bet you I get a stoppage, or I bet you I win earlier than you, or it's going to be this type of decision? Do you guys have that type of friendly competition as well?
Yeah, for sure. Especially when we, like you said, when we fight around the same time, we always just say like you said, I can get a knockout before you, or I bet you don't do this, or I bet you don't do that. So, and we always bet push ups. You never know, like no cash, but we always bet push ups or something like that. But
So,
yeah, that's always extra added motivation in training camp.
so from those, you said you bet push-ups. Who's the one that's had to do the most between you guys so far?
I say he had, but he always like pushes me to be better. You know what I'm saying? Because he when he go in there and do something, I gotta. Me in my head like, damn, I gotta outdo that now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's always some added pressure, but it's always good positive motivation.
exactly. And then, as you said, I've asked you this question every time because as a boxer, you hear them at the press conference like, "Oh, how's training camp going?" And everybody says
Yeah,
it's the best camp I've had. But I've asked you questions, and you've always gave me the real, honest answers, and that's why I really appreciate it. So
yeah,
you told me before the worst thing that you do that you don't really like to do was the running, doing all that extra long running. So how is that
yeah.
coming along for you? Is it becoming easier? Do you like it more now, or is it still like ah?
I actually like running. I just don't like running to I don't like running. I don't like working out to lose weight. I just like working out just because I feel like working out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So when I'm not in training camp, like or when I don't have to lose weight, it just be like less
Yeah.
added stress. But when I know I gotta do this like to lose weight or to you know what I'm saying, that's when it be like man. But other than that, I actually don't mind working out. To be honest, it just when you gotta lose weight and work out and eat healthy and all that, that's when it start becoming a little much. But it's all paid off at the end though.
And see, that's why I like talking with you because you tell me straight up, yeah, you're doing it because you got to, but it's not saying you're
Yeah.
not saying, oh, I enjoy it. But
Well,
so you told me this last time too. When you do it, you feel like that's you look at the person across the ring, and that's who has to pay for everything you had to do, right?
sure.
Yeah,
For sure, and that's what I be thinking about. And sometimes when I be working out, I be like, man, my opponent probably like trying to outwork me. Let me go run faster. Let me work harder. Let me punch his bag harder. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I always keep that in the back of my mind too. When I feel like I'm motivated to work out, I try to use that as like a motivational tool to push me to go harder. For sure.
So, as you said, you think about what he's doing. I'm not sure if you
Yeah.
ever remember or if you heard when Mayweather said this that he would work
Yeah.
out at night sometimes because he knew that the person he was facing was probably asleep, not knowing
Yeah.
that he's out here getting work in. So it's that type of thought process that you're doing, right?
For sure. And that right there just be motivating you more. Like, man, he ain't doing what I'm doing, or man, he might be working out right now. So let me try to outwork him and be in better shape, push myself harder so I can go that extra round or punch that extra. You know what I'm saying? Get that extra push at the end of the fight. So that's what I try to use too as well.
Definitely. Now, as we all know, you're also a fan of the sport. So, which fight this year maybe has surprised you with the outcome so far?
Uh, I'll say probably the Bivol Canelo fight. That was like the biggest upset of the year. I feel like one of the biggest upsets of the year. So yeah, but I think that if they do a rematch, I think Canelo will make the proper adjustments and he'll come out victorious. I do like Bivol as a champion, though. I think he's a real good fighter, though.
So you would think Canelo could pull the upset back to him if they fight again?
Yeah, I just feel like he got to let his hands go and just make the other proper adjustments he got to do, and then he can make it happen.
Now, do you think it'd be easier if he fought him at 168, or would it be better if he does it at 175?
I think 168 would give him a better advantage, but he won't win at one. He won't be a champion at 175. That's the only downplay. But still, if you want to just get the rematch and get the revenge, you should just fight him at 160. I feel like that give him a better advantage this
Yeah,
time going around.
yeah, and honestly, I think same thing. I don't think he gets him at 175. At
Yeah,
168, I think because Bivol will have to come down a little bit,
yeah,
he'll give himself a better opportunity. But at 175, I just think Canelo's size, I think it peaks at
yeah,
168. He's putting on too much muscle and slows down some of his speed at 175.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree with that.
So who do you think had the best performance of the year so far in boxing? Like best fight where they just showed out.
Best fight where he just showed out. Man, I don't really know, man. It's been so many good fights this year. I feel like it's been a lot of good fights this year. So I really can't just say one person that just stood out, but I know that one. Oh, I can say one person since he just came for the undisputed. I say Devin Haney. He's been doing his thing
Yep.
though.
Yeah.
He didn't. You know what I'm saying? He didn't dominate this guy 2 times going around. He undisputed champion. So I got to give it to Devin Haney.
Okay. So would you say that Devin Haney would be your fighter of the year, or
Oh, and Bam
Bam?
Rodriguez too.
Yeah.
Bam too. He's been doing this thing too. I forgot about Bam and definitely doing this thing. I like
But
Bam too a lot.
yeah, and it's funny with Bam. I seen him fighting here last year in my hometown of Fresno when he fought,
Yeah,
and I was telling everybody, I was like, "Yo, this kid's quick. He's fast." I was like, "He's strong for those smaller weights." So I was like, "I can't wait to see how he develops." And in the next fight,
yeah.
he was in a world championship fight with Quadras, knocks out
Mm-hmm.
Sorry Vingsai, and then he comes out and gets this other win. So yeah, I agree with you,
Mm-hmm.
Bam. So if you were to
Yeah,
go
Bam.
fighter of the year, who would you put? Let's say top three. Who would you have in that list?
I had to go. I no specific order. I just say like this, no specific order. Bam, Haney, and Bivol because he got the upset win.
Okay. Yeah, and you know what? I think a lot of people would probably agree with you. Now,
Yeah,
which fight do you think maybe funniest for the way it ended? For me, if I'm gonna go personal, I'm gonna go with Tank and Rolly, just because it looked like Rolly was doing a little better than most people expected, and then we all
yeah,
seen the knockout punch, and it was like, okay, that's it. That's what we thought was gonna happen. So,
right.
would you say that, or maybe not funny, but just like a fight where it ended in an instant where it was looking a little different than what the outcome came out to be?
Uh, I already kind of everybody. I feel like everybody, like you said, knew that Tank was gonna win, but man, I don't know. But I know a build up that fight I really liked about a build up. It was that
Yeah.
females fight with Alicia Baumgart and Michaela Mayer. I feel
Yeah.
like that was my favorite build up fight. And to be honest, I thought that was gonna be a real like tough fight for Alicia, but she ended up winning and pulling it off with.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say it didn't seem like the hardest fight ever for her. I ain't gonna lie. It
Yeah.
didn't seem like the hardest fight ever.
Yeah, and I feel like she clearly won 6-4, but
Yeah,
like I think what a lot of people would say is that her rounds that she won more clean as opposed to the ones
yeah,
that Michaela won.
for sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And if we're gonna say dominant display, I want to say would be Clarissa Shields probably had maybe one of the most dominant wins
Yeah,
besides Devin, because as you said, it
yeah,
was
for sure.
supposed to be undisputed, bigger fight, and
Yeah,
for those rounds that they won, they made it look too easy at times.
yeah, for sure. I agree with you 100% with that.
Yep. So, which fight the rest of the year coming up besides yours
Mm.
are you interested in seeing?
Interest. What's the fights for the rest of the year? I don't even know. A lot of fights for the rest of the year that's coming up. Who fighting for
I know
real?
we got
There's like big.
Inoue and Butler are gonna go undisputed at 118.
Yeah,
Chocolatito and Quadras 3. Um, Frank Martin and Michael Rivera.
That's a good one.
That's
That's
a
a good one.
really underrated fight because
That's a real good fight.
they're both undefeated. They're both
Yeah,
prospects. They both probably could have went other ways to keep pushing, and they
for
said, you know what,
sure.
screw it, let's get it on. Like, hey,
Yeah,
I give them
that's gonna be a
respect and props.
yeah, that's gonna be a great fight. I can't wait to see that one. I
Yeah,
think as far as like you said, 50-50 fights, I think that's like the most one I'm
yeah.
excited for.
Now
Yeah, that's a good one.
you're a fan too, man. Were you as mad as the rest of boxing, or at least upset when Crawford and Spence didn't go through?
I thought they were gonna fight this year,
They were supposed to fight
but
today. That was
yeah,
the agreement.
I thought they were gonna fight, to be honest, this year. I didn't think they were gonna fight in November because of how the timing was and they didn't get enough time to promote it, but I definitely thought they were gonna fight this year. But after this just it kept stalling and stalling and stalling and no promotion, I kinda figured it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah. So now, when you see the guy Crawford's fighting, David Evanesian,
Yeah.
he's not well known to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not to the casual fan. A lot of people do know him
Yeah.
for some of his victories.
Yeah.
But what do you know about him, and do you think he might present a real challenge, or do you think it's going to be just easy work for Terrence?
I think Terrence gonna stop him, to be honest. I think Terrence gonna stop him. But as far as a business move, like wise, I feel like that was a smart move from for Terrence Crawford since the Earl Spence fight fell out. He getting 10 million to fight Evanesian in his
Yeah,
hometown, sold out crowd. I feel like that was the next best move for him to do for sure.
yeah,
What else? What else was that going? What else could top that? Like you know what I
yeah,
mean? Fighting a guy would that everybody expects you to stop for $10 million. That's crazy.
yeah,
So I feel like
exactly.
that's a good move.
And like we said, fighters deserve to get paid. So at the end of the day, in that point, I'm not mad at him because hey, get your money because you're not going to fight forever.
I
And
swear.
yeah, and that's cool. So, but you know, I mean, as fans, you know, we want to see um,
Yeah,
him and Arrow get it on. Now,
yeah,
someone you've sparred with before, who's coming up to at 147, Boots. We've talked about him before. How do you think he does
yeah.
against Spence or Crawford?
I think he does good. I feel like right now, all the young, like everybody, like 25, 26 and down, is their time. So them older guys, I feel like they're it's over with for them. So they any of them, I feel like a lot of them getting there with the young talented prospects. I feel like the young talented, well, I don't say prospect, young talented contenders and stuff like that. I feel like the young talented guys get them. I feel like it's just like a whole new generation coming in and watching the old, not watching them out, but pushing the old guys out because the time's up. It's a whole new generation coming up now.
Now, as you know, one of the biggest issues that boxing has had is fights not being made. Maybe because it's ducking, maybe because other reasons. As you
Yeah.
said, you're part of this new generation that's coming up. Devin, he proved he's trying to make a legacy for himself. He took a little bit of shorter pay in the first fight, went to
Yeah.
Australia, got the win, came back a second time and got the win again. Do you think that this new generation is going to be more tended to let's get the best fights against each other as opposed to maybe the one that came that was right before where some of them were, you know, avoiding or just trying to get the most money?
Oh yeah, for 100%. But at the same time, guys, like you said, deserve to get paid. They ain't trying to get ripped off either at the same
Yeah.
time. So as long as it makes sense, I feel like, and the fighter believes in himself. As long as the money makes sense and the fighter believes in himself, they can. The fight definitely get made. Like they say, I don't think no fighter is scared to fight no other fighter. It's just there got to be the right opportunity. Nobody's about to go out there and get underpaid for a hard day's hard night's work. So
Yeah. And as you said, you know, no fighter's scared of another one. So
yeah.
when you hear how Tank and Ryan Garcia is going to happen supposedly in April, should they win the next two fights, do you think that's proof of the that young generation showing that they want to fight each other and they're supposed to be making that good money for that fight too?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, that's other than Spence and Thurman. What else is a bigger fight than that? You know what I'm saying? Fury Usyk, but that's like a kind of a foreigner's fight.
Yeah.
As far as like American fight, what's the biggest fight other than that? So I think that's gonna be That's gonna be probably one of the biggest fights of that year for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
If not, if not,
and as my boy Lazy Lefty on Twitter said, is gonna bring all the girls out to the fight. We'll put it in nicer words.
that fight gonna be so packed. It's gonna be scary. People
Yeah,
gonna look. This was gonna happen. People gonna be in Las Vegas who don't even go to the fight and still just be like around just for the
yeah,
atmosphere and the energy. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Exactly. You think you're gonna make it out there for that fight? When it goes down in April?
I would love to make it out there for that fight for sure. If opportunity for me to make it out there, I'd definitely go out there.
Yeah, I think that's one we got to push to go to too, because it's supposedly if it happens and everybody comes out clean at their fights, it's gonna be April 15th in Vegas.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be hard. I
Uh,
think that's gonna be a real good fight.
who
Actually,
who do you got?
I got Tank, but I feel like Rolly was definitely competitive for the first part of the round. If Ryan Garcia can be more controlled, he can last a little longer. But at the end of the day, I think I got Tank for sure.
You think by knockout?
Yeah, Tank by knockout. I think Tank by knockout. Yeah.
Okay. And as we've seen Tank has a chin on him, but
Mm,
do you think it could be because he hasn't been hit with something as hard as Ryan can throw? Because Ryan's got power, but he's really
yeah.
deceptively
That.
quick. Yeah, it's real
Mm,
fast. So do you think that could test more of Tank's chin as opposed to who he's been in the ring with?
yeah, for sure. I feel like uh this is like both of their fight, probably like both of their hardest fights in their careers. They both young, they both fast, both strong. So it's definitely the hardest fight in both of their careers. You know what I'm saying? To me, so far.
Definitely, yeah. And I I, I want to say right now I'm gonna agree that I think Tank gets the win probably by stoppage and maybe
Yeah,
in the ninth or 10th round. But
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they both get dropped in that fight at some point. I
That'd be a sight to see.
Yeah,
And I feel like a lot of Tank fights he start out kind of slow, so it'd
that's
be
why.
a good idea
Yeah,
for Ryan Garcia to start a little faster, but not get overly anxious and run into something though, because
yeah,
he can
exactly.
quickly act
And
on.
that's why I think they both could get caught because I feel like Tank, if he starts slow and he
Mm-hmm.
realizes, okay, I'm a few rounds down, I got to do something, might open himself up
Mm-hmm.
a little bit and might get caught with
Mm-hmm.
something quick. But I
Mm-hmm.
think he recovers. And then, Ryan, as you said, he might get over anxious, might tire himself out. And that's where I feel like Tank starts picking up and possibly stops him later on.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's gonna
but
be
yeah,
a good fight though. I
that's going to
think
be
about it.
a good fight. And I'm just, as you said, it's something for boxing. People that aren't boxing fans or don't watch boxing are probably going to be there just because of the names.
Yeah, for sure. Because I see people already on social media and Instagram talking about the fight, and I be like, y'all not even know
Yeah.
real boxing fans about it. It's just like they got big social media presence.
Yeah, they transcend the sport. There's always been like Deloya, Mayweather, Tyson,
Yeah.
fighters like the Canelo right now, fighters like that, and
Mhm.
these next ones right now, the biggest ones are Ryan and Tank. They're the biggest names outside of the other fighters out there that just have that presence, that following.
Right, 100%.
Definitely.
I agree.
So now you've told me before you fight at 154. If the opportunity came for 147 or 160, would you take either or is there a preference to either one?
Uh, I really want to claim my stake at 154, but I feel like I'll move up before I go down. I feel like I
Yeah.
want to be as strong as I am at 147 as I am at 150, as I am at 154 or as 160. So I'd rather move up than go down for sure.
All right. Perfect. Now, I like to ask these questions of fighters. Now, who's one fighter, we'll say past that doesn't fight anymore, that you would have loved to test your skills in the ring against?
I feel like I would like to test my skills against all those fighters back in the day. James Toney, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, just to get in there because you hear a lot of stories about
Yeah.
those dudes was different back then. I ain't gonna lie, them dudes was real different back then. But you hear like a lot of stories about man how they just was beasts back then. I just like to see how I could have gotten in the ring with them and handle myself as well. But those type of fighters I like to go in there with people who was like my weight, Mike McCollum, all them type of guys who was had real names, who was real vicious. Just to, you know what I'm saying? Go in there, 'cause them dudes was real different back then. I watch old tape and I'd be like, man, them dudes. was mean. They was
Yep,
like they was there. They was the real deal back then.
definitely, man. So that's a good list, man. That's a tough list of fighters right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, you mentioned Usyk and Fury. Who would
Yeah.
be? Who do you think is the winner of that fight, and how do you think it would go?
Fury, I feel like Fury would definitely win, but I feel like it would. I don't want to say it wouldn't go to distance or it would, because I don't really know. It's heavyweight, man.
Yeah,
One punch can just end the whole fight. But I feel like Usyk is defense like a defensive smart fighter, so I feel like it probably will go to distance before he gets stopped.
definitely. And honestly, I feel the same, but let's see if you agree with me here. I feel Fury wins, but I feel Usyk's the more skilled fighter.
Yeah, like I feel like he's a more technically sound, fighter, but I feel like overall, Tyson Fury is just too
He's
much for
just
him.
so big, man, and I honestly
Yeah,
think Usyk is probably the closest one that could give him a fight right now, besides Wilder, because as we've seen, Wilder could catch
yeah,
anybody and stop him, and Fury's the only one to
yeah,
ever take that punch.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you on that, but I don't think UC can beat Wilder either, though.
Yeah, because and that's the thing is that I think he's more technically sound, more gifted in that, but it's just
Yeah,
those two, as you said about Hearn and all them, they're just different. They're so much more
yeah,
bigger. Fury has skills for being that big. Wilder
mm,
has deceptive skills to me because people,
yeah,
they say he fights wild, but he
yeah.
could set you up with that jab, and that right hand could just come out of nowhere, and that's
And
it.
you ain't, and only one person stood up to that right hand,
Yep.
and it ain't, and he's just different.
Exactly. So yeah, I agree with you there. I think Wilder would catch him at some point, and I mean no disrespect to Usyk, as I said, I think he's one of the best in the world, but I just think that right hand is just too much for anybody.
Yeah, I think like you said, that right hand, you got to be different to take
Yeah,
that. Now, too many people can.
exactly. And I mean that one with Helenas, when you heard the punch land, it sounded like a damn shotgun went off in the background just from that punch. So
And it didn't even look hard. That'd be
yeah,
the craziest part.
yeah, that
Like,
it just looked
like
like a
he was,
regular punch, like he was just throwing
mm-hmm.
like a testing shot out there, but that's just how much power comes with it.
Right. It's
So
scary.
now, we got a couple last questions here. Speaking of Wilder, he's supposed to. Well, he was ordered to meet up with Andy Reese. How do you think that fight would go? And do you think it at least goes past 6?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I think Deontay Wilder gonna still knock him out too, but I think Andy Ruiz can give him a little resistance because he's kind of fast for a heavyweight. But that right hand, you just don't never. I don't know when it's gonna land. The first round, the second round, third round. I know Andy Ruiz been down before,
Yeah,
and he's fought people with lesser punches. Deontay Wilder, so it'd be scary. It's just like he got 12 rounds to land one shot, and you got to survive a whole. You got to be perfect for a whole 12 rounds. It's kind
exactly.
of
Like you said, you got to be perfect for 36 minutes. He only has to be perfect for about 3 seconds.
You're right.
Yeah.
So
All
it'd be
right. So
hard.
I feel the same. I think Wilder eventually gets him.
Mm.
But would you be surprised now? Let's say if Reese lands something and stops Wilder, kind of like the way he did Joshua.
I wouldn't be that surprised about that either, for real, because Ruiz he gonna let his hands go. I
Yeah.
feel like Ruiz let his hands go real well, and he's quick. But it's just like if you got Deontay Wilder hurt, you better stop him right there because if he recover, it's over with.
Exactly. Yep. Definitely. All right. So then
Yeah.
the last one's gonna be for you, man. Anybody you want to shout out? Give a shout out to, and then tell fans to tune into your fight next weekend and where they can watch it at.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all my supporters out there who's been supporting me and following me along with my career. I want to give a big shout out to my team. Happy belated birthday to me and my dad. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And man, just you can follow me on all social media platforms at Charles Conwell. And man, you can find the fight at fight.tv.com or fight.tv. That's where the fight gonna be at. November 26th. Stay tuned, man, for more details about that.
Definitely. So tune in, guys, next week, November 26th. I know it's a couple days after Thanksgiving. You guys could just be sitting there still feeling off fat stuff. Catch the fight, man. It's going to be a good
Yeah,
one. I want to give a shout out to everybody that follows me. I'm back on here. Took a little bit of a break, but we're back on, so we'll be coming back consistently. Shout out to Anda Promotions. We got some working with him. And then shout out to the Raider Ramble. Shout out to Chicken Talk, my boy Lefty, as I said earlier, man. Respect, bro. Shout out to the chat. And last thing, Charles, what's your prediction for this fight, bro?
My prediction for my fight.
Yeah.
Oh, my prediction for my fight is me coming out victorious and putting on one of the best performances of my career so far.
Perfect. All right, guys. So don't forget.